The Lions have finally done something that they haven't done in 32 years, and that's win a playoff game. Last time they did that was in the 91-92 season, and the last one was against, ironically, who we just talked about, the Dallas Cowboys, where they absolutely crushed them. This was a great performance from both quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford, 367 yards, 2 touchdowns, while Jared Goff, 277 yards and only a singular touchdown. He had help in the run game. I want to know, how impressed were you with Detroit's win over the Los Angeles Rams?
Very impressed. I thought they would lose. I actually didn't pick them to win. I thought that the Rams would had the better coach, and I thought that Matthew Stafford, the way he's been playing with Puka Nacua and his other receiving core, that they would find a way to win, and with their running back, right, Williams, who actually got hurt in this game, and may have had a factor in the fact that the Lions did managed to pull it out. But it was a very exciting game, and I give Jared Goff a lot of credit. Man, he should come out with that mindset in every game. He'd be a top 3 quarterback if he did, because you could see it in his eyes, man. He was determined to win that game, particularly, and I think it said something about his issues with the Rams and how they treated him when he was with their organization, and the way the trade went down when the swap went for Stafford for Goff.
Yeah. For me, I picked the Lions to win. I said that they would do this because what I saw from the team last year is Dan Campbell, I think, is the right coach. He instills will into his team. I think the players really believe in his mentality and in the way he coaches, in the mindset and the culture that he brings to the Detroit Lions. I think what was impressive about this game was I think Jared Goff, while maybe the passing yards doesn't say it and the touchdowns don't say it, I think he played probably the best game of his entire career. You could say the Chiefs-Rams game back in 2018, Monday Night Football, you could say that was the numbers. I might agree with you if you talk about strictly numbers. But if you're talking about the level of play, the level of pressure, the entire state of Michigan was riding on Jared Goff and this Lions team's backs. They haven't made the playoffs in 30 years, and they were about to do something that they haven't done in 32 years. They made the playoffs. They won, winning the division. That's what they haven't done in 30 years. Winning a playoff game, 1991, 1992. They were ready for this. And you're going up against a Rams team, which they were on a hot streak. They were projected like 5.5 wins just based on last year. And last year's Rams, they were banged up, broken, beaten down. You come into this season now, it starts off, I think Cooper Kupp was on IR to start the year. Puka Nacua was really good to start off. Tutu Atwell had a great start to the season. They cooled off a little bit in the middle, but then basically from that Rams game on, they lost to the Ravens game, lost to the Ravens in overtime. They picked it up from there. And you go up against a Lions team, which defensively, passing-wise, they had their difficulties. And Matthew Stafford took advantage of that. 367 yards, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua broke DK Metcalf's receiving yards in a playoff record. 181 yards on 9 catches for a singular touchdown. He also had 10 targets, so he only had 1 incompletion, targeting Puka Nacua. This game had a lot to do with the fact that this team, culture-wise, is one of the best in the NFL. People laugh and make fun of Dan Campbell for his, biting the kneecaps and his personality and how much, momentum he swings into his team and how much emotion he shows. But this game, and that second half was very ugly for the Lions offensively. 3 straight drives, really nothing to go there. But this game, I would say, when you think of it, the big picture, this game was about threes in my mind. It was about the number 3. And you might be asking, why am I saying it's about the number 3? Well, if you take a look at, the red zone trips, the Rams, 0 for 3, led to 3 field goals. The Lions, 3 for 3, led to 3 touchdowns. Now, you could say bad call, missed call. You could say whatever you want about that. But when it comes down to it, who scored when it mattered and who fell apart when it mattered? The Lions, red zone-wise, shut down the Rams. I think they were doing too much of a tell, targeting Cooper Kupp in the red zone so much, and that led to the Lions capitalizing on it and shutting down the Rams in the red zone so they could only kick field goals. You could say that there was, I believe it was a potential hold on Puka Nacua late in the game. I could argue there was a neutral zone infraction earlier in the game.
Yeah, well, that was a big play when Nacua was really interfered with, right? They pulled him down. They pulled him down.
No,
There was a penalty though, Nate. It should have been.
I'm not arguing it wasn't a penalty.
It should have been a penalty called, but I do think the Rams shot themselves in the foot with 2 holding calls, which pushed them way back, right? And they had to kick that field goal instead of going for the touchdown. It was those holding calls that really hurt them.
I'm going to say this. We've talked about previous games before the Super Bowl, and we talked about Chiefs games that end due to penalties. At the end of the Bengals game, there was a penalty on the Bengals Chiefs game. There was a penalty on the Bengals that set the Chiefs up for a field goal. Stuff like that. This no call, it wasn't egregious. It was hidden. I'm happy regardless of the outcome. If that was called a penalty, and now you had the Detroit Lions in 2 penalty situations late in the game that cost them the game.
Yeah. Well, the Lions had some bad luck with calls against Dallas. And in that Dallas game, the 2019 game, they got a break in this one in the 24-23 win with that no call on Puka Nacua hold. Yeah. That was a hold.
And by the way, I still argue it shouldn't have been a penalty.
They might not have scored because I don't know. Maybe it would have been a field goal. Though. Still been a field. Well, they got the field goal anyway, right? They wound up with a field goal.
Could have been a touchdown.
It could have been a touchdown, and
then that last drive would have been more than a
the holding calls killed the Rams. Still had the opportunities there to get the touchdown, but the holding calls killed them.
Right, and both teams played tremendously though. Both quarterbacks, Matt Stafford played incredibly. Jared Goff played tremendously. And what I said was the running game for the Lions is going to be the key here because the Rams don't have a great rushing defense. 82 yards amongst the 2 running backs. It wasn't a dominant performance. Each had a touchdown. But David Montgomery, 14 carries, 57 yards and a touchdown. Not bad, 4.1 yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs, not as explosive as we've seen him, 3.1 yards a carry. He had 8 carries for 25 yards. But they were effective enough that the play action for Jared Goff helped them a decent amount. They didn't do it, by the way, they didn't do it tremendously, but he was 5 of 7 for 62 yards. It's 71% completion percentage on play action.
Do you think the fact that Williams got hurt, he had 13 carries for 61 yards. He got hurt in probably the most inopportune moment for the Rams. It was the last drive he didn't play for the Rams. It was the last drive, so they had to send out Ronnie Rivers to be trying to carry the way there. And because Kyren Williams wasn't out there, I think they felt they needed to pass more because what Kyren Williams was doing was picking up first downs. He was getting a lot of yards, picking up first downs. He was running the ball enough that the passing game was as effective as it was. Yeah, well, in that the drive where they got down there before the holding call, having him in there, maybe they could have pounded their way into the end zone, and he was not there. He was hurt.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, another incredible performance, 7 catches, 110 yards. Josh Reynolds, a great start to the game. He had a bunch of yards early to start the game, 5 catches for 80 yards to end the day, though. Sam Laporta, he wasn't going to play this week, maybe not. Turns out to have one of the biggest catches in the game. He scores a touchdown. He only had 3 catches on the day, though. 3 catches, 14 yards, and a singular touchdown.
How about Nakua's stats?
I said that. Puka Nacua breaking records out here.
9 catches, 181 yards, and a TD. Not bad.
He's been incredible all season. 5th round pick. I mean, that's a steal and a half. You get a tough receiver like that in the 5th round. I would feel like only good things could come out of that. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.